YouTube, what is up? Today we're gonna be doing kind of different kind of video. We're gonna be doing a guide, on Umamusume. Specifically focusing on the career this time around. We're gonna do a career guide on, especially for the new players. I know I have a lot of new friends playing. On kind of what should you be doing throughout your career? What does a career look like? And tips and tools and tricks and whatnot to help you, bring your Umas from whatever you're doing to a hopefully higher threshold and, a new pinnacle to have better quality Umas, not just for you, but your Umas, because your horses are only as good as you. So we're going to be helping you. So pretty much if you just started the game or familiar, or returning or whatever, you're going to be met with this screen. What scenario are we going to want to be doing? Always, the answer is kind of always the newest scenario. The scenario currently is Unity Cup. It's been out for a few months now. And this is where you're going to get the most stats and the best results for your Umas. We don't really want to touch the older ones, at least not now, because they won't give us as much stats, not making as good Umas, and it's just don't do it, man. Just don't do it. So we're going to be picking Unity Cup, and next thing is, who are we training? What are you training? Pretty much you have vastly different options of who you could be training and what are they good at. So when you start a run, I always like to have a goal. A goal with Uma, like for example, what I mean by that, am I building a Uma for team trials? Am I building a Uma for champions meeting? Or am I just building an Uma just to get to know them, or like get a feel of how their careers go and wanting to just get more comfortable with the game? Whatever it may be, have a goal. I suggest having a goal. For the sake of this video, we'll use Goldship. Goldship's a very popular, very strong runner, especially in medium to long races as an end closer. Why is she good at those? Because we can see that every Uma has different aptitudes and different ranks that they specialize in. So for example, Goldship, if we look under her stats, we can see that she has an A rank in end closer. We wouldn't run her as a front runner because she has a G rank in front runner. That's like the worst you can get. Don't do that. So she's most commonly run as an end closer on long to medium tracks because that's what she's really good at. You can have parents that will up these skills. If you want to have like a mile for somebody that's like not as high rank, when you want to get them there, parents that can pass down the skills can help you with that. So we determined that we want Goldship and we want her to be a solid medium to long runner. So we choose our Uma. And so this screen here is your parent screen or your legacy screen, whatever you want to call it. What are legacies? Pretty much these are Umas that were prior trained. And every Uma at the end of a run has something called stats or sparks. Sorry. Sparks are something that can be passed down from Uma to Uma. What do I mean by that? So we can see that Smart Falcon here has a lot of text here, a lot of things that don't make sense inherently. I'll explain it to you. So as we can see, if we back out real quick, we can see that our Goldship here is getting plus 63 to speed. This is because our Legacy 1, Smart Falcon, has 9 sparks in the speed stat. So she has 3 speed, and her 2 parents before her also had 3 speed, giving 9 speed sparks, giving her the highest speed rating that she can pass down. Also, parents can pass down skills and abilities during inspirations on inspiration days. We'll get to a little bit more about that later. All you got to know is that skills that you can, as you can see, can be passed on your Uma, and they can be taught, and they're very useful. Some skills are better than others. Some skills aren't needed with some Umas. For example, you wouldn't be using a end closer skill on a front runner. It won't work. It will never proc because that's literally 1 + 1 doesn't equal 3. Okay. We choose parents based off their sparks and what we think is needed for our Uma. Let me explain. Goldship being a an end closer, a long range end closer, is going to want a decent amount of stamina and power. She will get these two stats based off of our support cards that we chose. Oh, not yet, actually. I'm sorry. Coming up here. So your deck, everybody's deck's going to look a little different. I'm going to run, for the sake of the video, a 3-speed, 2 power, and 1 scenario card. There is 6 type of cards in this game, being a speed card, stamina card, power card, guts card, wit card, and scenario card. Everything has different roles and they have different abilities. So, for example, I chose one of the support cards I chose is Umamusume Black. Umamusume Black is very good for few reasons. First one being that the skills that she passes down. There's some really good ones in here. Focus is fantastic. And she has long corners. We're building a long range runner, so we would want long range skills. But more importantly, she has a support card event chain that procs throughout your run, and at the end of her chain, she will give you something called Professor of Curvature, which is a fantastic skill to have. 85% of the time you're going to be wanting this, unless the scenario that you're building your Uma for, like if say you're building an Uma for Champions Beginning and the track actually doesn't want, it's actually better to not have Professor of Curvature, then you wouldn't choose it. Most time, it's a really good skill that most people run. So that's one half of the story. The other half of the story with Umamusume Black, for example, is that this overwhelming looking percentages and numbers and stats that frankly don't make sense to the naked eye. Let me break it down for you. There's 2 lines of text in here that make Umamusume Black fantastic. First one being training effectiveness, and the second one being specialty priority. What do I mean by those? Training effectiveness is pretty much the multiplier of stats gained when your speed card lands on your speed training facility. I'll get to that more later. Pretty much the higher percent we have, the better the results we're going to get. The higher stats, pretty much that's what we want. And then specialty priority is the likelihood of Umamusume Black actually landing on the speed training facility. Instead of it just being, random every turn, this kind of increases the likelihood of it going to the facility you want, being speed, because she's a speed card. So those are like the 2 really brief stats that are make her really good. Of course, there's a lot of other stats that make her really good, and every card looks different. For example, Rice Shower here, this Rice Shower power card wouldn't give Professor of Curvature, right? Because she has her own set of things. She would give Swinging Maestro, and she doesn't have 80 specialty priority. She has 50, which is still really good, and 10% training effectiveness, which is still really good. But every card's different in what they do in their roles. So choose cards based off what you think suits your goal the best. Because remember, we want to build Uma with a goal in mind. And don't be afraid to experiment. A lot of my experience is just from trial and error. When I started playing this game, damn near at lunch, I had nobody guiding me. Frankly, it didn't take me until maybe a month later till I still started watching guides. So I'm just going to try to instill my knowledge that from my trial and error onto you guys, so you guys have a better time starting off than I did. So please don't be afraid to experiment with your support cards. If it doesn't make sense first time around, don't worry about it. Hell, if you guys want more guides like this, want more in-depth guides of support cards or sparks from parents or whatever it may be, let me know and I'll be more than happy to make it. So we figured out we'll be using these cards, and there's 6 cards per deck, and obviously we have 5 because we can borrow another card from somebody. So I usually like running 3 speed and then 2 power or scenario, or 3 speed, 2 stamina scenario, or however you want to mix and match. 2 speed, 2 power, 1 wit, 1 scenario, whatever it may be. Every character has their bread and butter. It's gonna look a little different for every character. So we figured out which parents we want, and we figured out what support cards we want for Uma and our goal. Now let's head into a career. Hey guys, Red Skull editor me interrupting briefly because I forgot to mention one thing about parents and support cards. Is that if you would like a tool, a very useful tool to find parents and or support cards that will help enhance your run, because it's not easy always finding friends. I do suggest this website. I use it all the time. I always suggest it. Pretty much it's called Umamusume DB. And pretty much what it is, it's pretty much imagine a friend finder, where you can find friends and their like friend ID really quickly based off your needs. So for example, say you're building a front runner, right? Say like great parent for a front runner is saying Sky, and you would want, I don't know, a 9-speed parent, right? Because we briefly went over Sparks. You could find it here. You press search, and then you would get a whole list of parents, right? Of people and what they're passing down. So for example, the top person, we'll just take the top person, for example. You would see that he has a 9-speed, saying Sky, that has mile representative for Red Spark. And we can see that some skills he's also passing down. A very important one that catches my eye immediately is groundwork. He has representative 2. Groundwork is fantastic for front runners. So how would that work is you would, copy, you press this copy button or copy their ID, pretty much go back to Umamusume in the friends tab, add friend, put this in, there you go. You can also, if you're not looking for, parents per se, and you want a support card, same thing, same idea, right? Under representative horse, support card, say I'm looking for, Biko Pegasus, right? And we always want the max. We always want max version of the card. So we press search, and all these users with Biko Pegasus max limit break show up. This website is super useful for all of your runs. Whether it be support cards, parents, whatever. I wholeheartedly suggest it. I'll leave the link down in the description below for the link to the website. But yeah, hope this guy's. I usually skip these. Please read these though. These scenarios have really fun stories. I think they're really entertaining. Give them a read on your own time. But for now, I don't have time for that. We're gonna skip through it. So you get to the main screen, right? You get to this screen exactly when you start a career run. As you can see, there's a lot of information, a lot of buttons here. Let's go through them briefly, one by one here. So the most important one is training. The big blue training button. That's where you're gonna spend 90% of your time here in the career, okay? This is where you'll see your, you can train your speed, stamina, power, guts, wit. That's really important stuff. The next button is rest, the rest button. As you train your Uma, as you can see, it takes energy out. So after 50%, there will be something called a failure percentage. So as you can see, right now we have 0% failure because haven't trained yet. We have full energy. But as we go below the halfway point, we'll have an increased chance of failure. That's not what we're looking for. We want, odds in our favor, usually 0%, preferably, and a healthy Uma. So this is where we'll rest most of the time. Skills, the skills button. This is where, as you go through your career, you'll get, you unlock skills from your support cards or races or events, whatever the case may be, they'll appear here. And you can learn these skills by purchasing them with your skill points. You get skill points from training, races, just playing through the career. You'll get them. And for example, if we wanted to buy a skill that we think would be great for our Uma, we would press this button right here, press confirm. I'm not going to because I'm not going to buy this, but that's how it would look like. There's a few different types of skills. There's stamina skills, or recovery skills, I should say, that are blue. Those help replenish endurance and stamina during a race. Especially longer races need them. Medium races absolutely need them. But maybe like sprint and mile, you don't need them because they're shorter races. And then you have other skills like this one's pretty good. This is a velocity skill. You can read slightly increase velocity when close to many runners. That's pretty good, especially with runners like late surgers that are going to be in a pack a lot for a lot of the race. This is pretty good. This helps boost your speed and velocity. Those skills are very critical to having fast Umas. So don't forget about these. Next up is infirmary. So infirmary is used when, say you took a gamble, right? You had a training that had like a 20% failure percentage and you hit it because you thought it was good, but it didn't work in your favor, right? And say your Uma gets a debuff because of it. That's when you go to infirmary and get rid of those debuffs. It gives you a little energy in return, but it's not guaranteed to get rid of your debuff. That's kind of the unfortunate matter. So don't try not to take big risks like that, because it could really hinder your run, or worse, throw your run out the window. But that's where we would get rid of those. Recreation is pretty much, it's a slightly different version of rest. It has a chance of giving you some energy, not as much, but it does give you a mood up. What do I mean by that? Next to your energy gauge, you'll see your mood. Ours is at normal, okay? There is 5 moods total, being normal, good, great, or bad and awful. As you can see, having great mood increases our training results by 20%, and it also helps our quality of running during races. If you're in a great mood during a race, you're going to run better. If you're in a bad mood during a race, you're not going to run as well. As simple as that. So we would like to usually camp in the great, if not good. So going back to our, failure percentage of training, if you fail a training, you're going to get bad moods. This is how this happens. Don't be down here. This is going to kind of hinder your run. Don't do that. As you can see, having bad mood lowers your training results by 10%. Don't do that. We want to be in the good mood. So recreation gets your mood up and gives you a little bit of energy. It is a nice, if usually I never press this button unless a few things happen. If there's like no good trainings, right, and you're at bad mood, then maybe it's worth considering recreation, but it's not something you press often. And the final button is the race tab. This is where you do extra races for various reasons. Say like your fan count is not high enough for leveling up your unique. I'll get to that a little later. But say you need to do extra races, get your fan count up. This is where you would do it. Some races are better than other. I'll kind of get through that a little later. But that's kind of the main gist of the buttons down here. Towards the top, we can see, like I said, our energy gauge. We can see our mood. And then you can see our, pretty much in the top left, our goal here, right? It says run in junior, make debut. And we have 11 turns till that happens. So pretty much we have 11 turns of training until our debut race. So if you ask me, we're going to go to training. We need to get these stats up, right? So before you start going crazy on just spamming speed or spamming stamina, right? Because that's what we need inherently to have good stats and a good Uma. The first order of business I'm doing is looking out for these support card gauges and these support cards. What do I mean by this? So if you notice that your support card has a gauge, right? We want to get these to 80%, all of them, before we even really hard focus on training. Why is that? Okay. Because at 80%, they now grant an ability called friendship training. Friendship training increases the stats gained by training. For example, say like Ketis and Black's a speed card and she's at 80%, gauge, and she lands on speed. There will be a rainbow effect. It'll give extra stats. It'll have, you'll kind of know when it happens. It is imperative that you get these gauges up as soon as possible to set yourself up for success later in the run. So usually I would, like I said, I'm hard focusing those first. So we could see that there's nobody in speed, stamina, or power. There's one person at power, one person at wit, but there's 3 people at guts. I'm not a big fan of pressing guts, but in this instance, I'm going to press it. So that's 1 turn down, right? So as you go through, we keep checking. There's 3 people at speed. We saw there's 2 people at power, nobody at wit. but keep getting these gauges up. It's simple as that. That's how you want to start your run. It's nothing too crazy, nothing major stat wise, not yet. Tosna is asking you if you want a tutorial here. I'm literally doing it for you. No need. So we keep checking. There's 2 people at stamina, 2 people at power, nobody at guts or wit. So I'm going to say we're going to choose power because it's a very important stat that gives some substat to stamina. As you can see, if we change stamina, it gives us stamina, but not power. It gives us guts instead. So I like choosing power here instead because it's giving us both stats that are relevant to us. All right, so new members join, which is part of the Unity Cup. I'll explain that in a second. So here we have a training event. These are events that kind of pop up through your run that give you multiple different options for different results. So we can see Gold Ship, being the absolute silly goose she is talking some silly stuff. So the top option for this is we would lose 10 energy and get 20 power, or keep our energy and get 10 speed. So in this instance, we can already see that my energy gauge is below 50%, right? Not great. So at this point, we would have a failure chance for training. But this is 20 power. I kind of want that 20 power to have increased stats later, right? So I'm going to take it. You know, I'm a little greedy today. I'm a little greedy. So now you can see Gold Ship's not feeling too great. Her energy's low. If we were to go to training, we can see that there's now a failure percentage of 32%. That is awful. But I do want to show something. Wit has 0% failure rate. Wit is a unique training facility where you actually gain energy instead of lose energy when training here. If you can see, if we chose like speed, we can see that if we were to choose this, we would go even further, right? Just because you can see the preview. If we were to choose wit, we would see the increase of energy because it's academics, not physical training. But since there's no, training support card on wit, and you're only gaining 6, I really wouldn't press this right now. In fact, I'd just take the rest option and hope for well rested. Yep, see, back to full. That's the best result. You have 3 results with that, by the way. You have well rested, normal, or like night owl, which is like not what you want. It could give you a debuff. It's all RNG. As you will learn through this game, everything's RNG. So we keep training. We'll look through, right? I see there's 2 people at guts, 2 people at power, nobody at wit. I'm going to choose, actually, for the sake of this video, I'm going to choose guts because I want to show off what Riko does. Riko is, remember, she is a scenario card. You can tell because their icon is like a little smiley guy right here instead of like, Zeta Roy, which is a speed card. Very unique card, okay? Riko, on her first interaction, when you first train with her, she'll give you mood up and some stats to like stamina and guts, I believe. So I want to show you what that looks like. So yeah, we get the training out of the way. I see, here's Riko, right? Mood up and some stats. That's good because now our training will be enhanced. So we have a support card event similar to the training event. We have different options. The top option being plus 10 to power. For right shower here for the first one, as you can see, there's 3 events because we have the first arrow filled in, but there's 2 empty ones. So once we get to the last one, that's the end of it. Top option being power, or bottom option being skill points, but it says critically ends this support cards chain event. If we were to choose this, we would just cut this and we like this is no longer in play anymore. Like for the rest of the run, it's impossible to get further. So we don't want that because she has really good skills that we need. So we would choose the top option. All right, so we have 6 turns left, right? We say there's 3 people at guts, 1 person at power. Just as you can see, we're now going to a rhythm. We're building a snowball. We're getting into a momentum of checking these friendship gauges and filling them. So we're gonna keep on doing that until the debut race. Our team rank improved, which is part of the Unity Cup scenario. I'll explain that a little bit later. We keep checking. There's 2 people here, 1 person there, 1. I like frankly, like I said, I don't like pressing guts too much. Since there's one across the board, I'm going to choose wit to keep our energy in balance pretty much. So energy is really important. The reason I didn't go for like, I don't know, like speed there, right? Because there's somebody on speed, but you know, there's somebody also on wit. I could have chose speed there, but then put myself in a bad position for the next turn because I would be pretty much forced to rest unless I wanted a failure percent. So now by doing that, we're thinking long term and we're thinking, okay, since there's nothing right now, I can wit or rest. So the next coming turns look better for me instead of just like, oh, here's a really bad, you know, speed training with no plus to stats, honestly, and it's not really good. Now I gotta rest next turn. I'm wasting turns. I'm not being, you know, efficient. I'm not being resourceful. So by monitoring your energy closely, you're resting less, you're training more, and that's better, obviously. This is a gamble event for that's the part of Gold Ship. The top option gives us plus the energy, or the bottom option is you have two options here that the game's going to choose for you. The best result giving you this green skill and some skill points, or the bottom option giving some skill points and the debuff Slacker. Slacker is a pretty much you're introducing a percent chance that Gold Ship now just doesn't arrive to training and is waste your turn. It's pretty terrible. As you can imagine, you choose training and she doesn't show up. That's pretty terrible. That wasted turn introduces mood downs. We don't want that. That's bad. So we're not going to gamble that. I'm just going to take the energy for the sake of the video. All right, so we keep going at just as normal, right? And so now we're coming up in 3 turns here. We're coming up to our debut race. We'll get there in a second. Actually, I'll meet you guys there. All right, so we're back at the debut race. So before you go into the race, you're met with this screen. If you want to buy skills with your skill points, you're more than welcome to. Some players don't buy skill points till the end of the run. I will say I'm one of those players because what that does is if you wait till the end of the run, you might get discounts on some skills that allows you to buy it for cheaper, right? But if you buy it during the run, you're pretty much eliminating the chance for you to become discounted and cheaper, forcing you to spend more and have less skills total. So that's why people wait till the end of the run to buy skills. On the other narrative, on the other two sides of the coin, if you are struggling to win races, then buy skills. Buy skills that you know you're going to buy at the end of the run anyways. For example, you know, Professor of Curvature is like one of them from Keyjus and Black. If you know you're going to buy that regardless and you're struggling to win races, buy it. Help you get to the end of the run, because what good is doing a run if you can't get to the end of it? Do not, like, that's something that I would like to tell you guys, is just try to get to the end of the run, and as you play more and more, you'll get a feel of what's right. But completing a run, especially in the start, is definitely critical. So I'm personally going to save our skills. I think our stats are going to be fine enough for this debut race. It's literally a debut race. It's nothing crazy. So we'll only have one option for a race here. We're going to do it. So in the race, you will see that there is a strategy screen. Some Umas are really good at multiple strategies. For example, Ogre Recap is a fantastic example of this. She is defaulted to run as a late surger, but she is commonly used as a pace chaser. I know there's players who, you know, don't change this about her, that she stays as a late surger, and sometimes they lose races. They get boxed during the race, and you know they can't run. You know, you lose races that are critical to the career. I suggest if you are struggling, for example, the Ogre Cat, for example, because she's a good example, change her to pace chaser and see if that helps her. I've seen a lot of people that does help her, because then she doesn't have to sit in the back. She doesn't have to get boxed. What I mean by box, she gets blocked out in every direction. She can't move. I find that helps. But our friend Goldship here is a fantastic end closer, so we'll stick her to that. I'm not going to watch the race. You're more than welcome to. It is very dramatic, I will say. Like, it gets you on the edge of your seat. But for the point of this video, we're just going to skip to the results. She wins. It's her debut race. It's nothing too hard. She wins by 7 lengths. Yeah, pretty much a blowout. So we get some stats for winning the race, and we can see our next goal. So this is the list of goals until the end. She has 9 total. This being the end of the career run, and then but this is where we're at right now. So as you see, she says Tanzan saying she has 11 turns to our next goal race. So we have 11 turns of training. All right, so narrative's pretty similar. We want to get our our friendship gauges up on our support cards. We check through still until they are all done. After they're all done, that's when we want to really start focusing down the the stats and the friendship trainings to really boost our Uma. But for now, we still want to be doing this. So coming up here, I will say, there's going to be an option for us to select our team name, because Unity Cup is a scenario where you are pretty much forced to choose a team name for your team, because Unity Cup is team racing. Multiple Umas make a team, and you have to choose a team name. So when you choose a team name, the game will tell you that there's no effect to it. That's a lie, frankly. There is an effect to choosing a team name. Every team name at the end of the run gives you a different skill. So if you beat Riko at the end of the run, which is like your goal to beat in Unity Cup, if you beat Riko, you will get a gold skill, which is very good. And that gold skill changes depending on the team name you chose. So once we'll get there, which is coming up in a second, I believe. I'll pull up a list. I'll edit it in of the different options you could choose. The most common option that most people use, including me, is Team Carrot. Team Carrot gives you the gold skill, No Stopping Me, which is very, very good to avoid getting boxed out, and pretty much increases your chances of having a nice smooth shot to the finish line. So I'll show you once we get there, but I'll skip ahead until we do. All right, so we're here. This is junior late September, when it'll ask you about your team name. So for me, there's only 2 options, because I only have Rice Shower as a technical scenario card. So that power Rice Shower we chose from earlier allows us to choose an option for Team Bloom. I believe there is 5 options, being Haru. There's Taiki Shuttle. If you have a Taiki Shuttle card, that'll give you a different option. Machikana will give you a different option. Rice Shower will have a different option. And then the blank option, if you have none of those cards, or you just want to choose it, Team Carrot gives you No Stopping Me. Like I said, I'll pull up a list of the different results it is choosing, but you can see the game says none. That's a lie. That is a lie. So I'm telling you now. So for example, I'll choose Team Carrot because No Stopping Me is a very powerful skill. So we have 5 turns left until our next career goal, which is also a kind of important date. I'll explain why, and I'll pretty much skip ahead and meet you guys there. All right, so we're not quite at the career goal yet, but something kind of important arised. So this is Riko Kashimoto, one of the support cards I was telling you about, specifically the scenario card. So Riko, instead of giving you like the skill events or the support card events, like for example Kita-san Black does, for example, she kind of helps you in a different manner. So she kind of pops up. She can't be immediately used until she pops up like this. And she'll have three options. The top option being a gamble. The bottom option also being a gamble. Actually, you just if you choose the bottom option, you can't use Riko at all. It's kind of defeats the entire purpose of her. But the middle option is guaranteed to grant you unlocks reaction or recreation with Riko Kashimoto. This is imperative to this card because Riko kind of replaces your rest button with outings. Let me explain. So we're lower on energy right now, right? We have nothing looking too great here, right? We have a failure percent of 17%, and there's nothing looking too good. So instead of resting, Riko is very unique where you have 5 instances of going out with her and pretty much improving your... She gives you energy and a bunch of stats. She gives you moods up. And she's really, really good. She also gives you other skills, or not skills, but benefits. For example, if we go to career profile, right, we look at Riko. As you see, she has something called failure protection by 15%, energy cost reduction by 10%, and event recovery 20%. She has a bunch of quality of life skills that makes your runs, like I said, smoother, easier, and just kind of she's just kind of a nice like lifeline, honestly. She's not needed per se, but she makes your runs a hell of a lot like better. I will say you get better runs more often with her. For example, if say like, so Riko's on weight right now, so it's kind of a bad example, but say like I was below 50% energy and I had 10% failure rate on speed, right? But I had Riko was on power, right? If she was on power, she would lower that quite significantly. So it'd be like 10% failure right here. She would make it like 4% failure rate on power. We're making it a lot more viable to run and get those extra stats. She also reduces the amount of energy being consumed, making it said less rests, more training, better Uma, right? That's that core fundamental. So Riko's really popular and very good for that. So we got 1 turn left till the next career goal. And the next career goal is very important because if you see under the 1 turn left, you see 1 turn until the Unity Cup. Unity Cup is the scenario we're in, and that is, like I said, that's team racing. So we're training Gold Ship here for her individual career, but there's a subset of career with team racing that gives us extra stats, some skills, and blah, blah, blah. So we'll get there in a second. I'll explain in a second. All right, so Unity Cup is open. So this is our first interaction with Unity Cup this entire career so far. So Unity Cup only happens 5 times. Usually at the end of the year and before summers. So what Unity Cup is like I said, team racing. Your team is comprised of your main Uma, being Gold Ship. I don't know why she's at Mile. And then your support cards around her. So NPCs also have a chance of joining you as you go through your career. You'll see like so-and-so joined your team or so on and so forth, right? There is a chance. But those are the people who fill out your roster. And as you go through, you'll rank up your team level. And that's kind of your overall. Imagine like your overall. And that kind of allows you to verse other teams for rank. So we can see there's 3 options here, right? There's the top option, which is kind of gamble. You're not guaranteed to win this. It's pretty rough. Middle option is pretty safe, but giving you the advancements you want generally. And the bottom option, which is like you're damn near guaranteed to win this. I will say, never choose the bottom option. I can't imagine a scenario where you would want to choose the bottom option. It is better if you choose the middle. Like you're going to win these for the most part. If you don't, unlucky. The tops are gambles though. I will say they give you, like I said earlier, you're competing for rank, right? So you can see under each of the teams, you said if you win, you become rank 22. If you win at the middle, you become rank 25. So you're competing for rank. The higher rank you are at the end of the run, the higher chance you have at beating Riko's team and her team, because she's rank 1. So typically we want to become the highest rank possible. So the top option here is unique, right? So top option, it's the most volatile. It's the highest risk but highest reward because your rank and stats, right? So rule of thumb is I wouldn't choose the top option unless I see 3 double circles. So we can see here there's 2 double circles at dirt and mile, there's 1 normal circle at sprint, triangle at medium, and X at long. X is being the worst ranking, like the worst like outlook that can happen. So if you know, gun pointed in my head, would I choose this right now? Yes, no. And the answer is no, right? Because it's not in my favor. Losing is by far the worst outcome that could happen. So we're gonna play it safe, go with the middle rank. I think setting yourself up for success, especially in the early, will kind of have a snowball effect of you just winning later. So we do want to be winning as much as possible. So our team's looking pretty good. We only need 3 wins to win the entire set. Our team is looking like we get a full sweep of 5 wins, 0 losses. Nice. I will say, if you get 3 wins, 2 losses, 5 wins, 0 losses, 4 draws and 1 win, whatever the case may be, it does not change the outcome. As long as you win the entire set, that is what matters. So, like I said, this happens 5 times. As you see, we have the next one's in 12 turns, and it keeps going. And you can see the dates. So, I will say, there's some important dates in this game. Coming up to the first one right now, being classic year, early January. So, this is New Year's resolutions date. This has an option for plus 10 to stamina for gold ship. This is very, every Uma's gonna be different with their choices, at least for the top option. The middle option being plus 20 to energy, and then skill points. I will say, I think it's wiser to choose energy here, because your next turn has a higher chance, especially if you're at half, right? If you're like below half or at half, your next turn has a higher chance of you getting more than 10 energy, or 10 stamina to stat, or for any stat for that matter. So I'd choose energy personally. That's one of the important dates. There's quite a few important dates. Briefly going through them, there is both the New Year's. So we're in classic year right now. So classic year, New Year, what we just did. And the more important one, senior year, New Year's, is another one. You get some stats and stuff like that. Stats, energy of your choice. Senior year, Valentine's is really important, because that is the first opportunity you're able to level up your unique skill. So if you go to skills, every Uma has a unique skill unique to them, and by having enough fans, you can level up your unique skill. So for Valentine's Day in senior year, you want at least 60,000 fans, and if you have 60,000 fans by Valentine's Day, your unique skill will level up. So this will go for gold ship level 2 to level 3. And the next one being late April, early May. If you have, I think it's 70 to 80,000 fans at minimum, it will level up again. And the final level up opportunity being 100,000 fans at late December senior year, the end of the run. Those are some pretty formidable or notable dates. Other notable dates is the summers. So in early June, Tazuna will warn you. She'll say, hey, you have 2 turns till summer, pretty much. You want to have full energy by early July being the start of summer, because summers have the highest, pretty much the highest possibilities throughout your run for the best stat gain, because your training facilities are maxed out during summer. Having maxed out training facilities gives you the highest opportunity of best training. So, and it lasts for 4 turns, by the way. So you want to be mindful of that. Besides that, you have 2 summers, by the way. That's one, like I said, one in classic year, one in senior year. And besides that, I can't think of other important dates. Yeah, those are the most important ones. So we're gonna keep going through the career. Like I said, our goal right now is to keep going on our friendship gauges, not worrying about the stats too much. We want to get these done, especially before summer. That's like a big deadline, in my opinion. You want to have all your friendship gauges done before summer because that allows you to have the highest opportunity for the best stats outcome for summer. So we're going to keep doing that, and we're going to keep going. All right, so we're here at late March, and I reminded myself during the important dates that there's 2 important dates I forgot about briefly, but I remember for now. So late March, early April gives you something called inspiration days, where your Uma pretty much gets a haul of stats and abilities potentially from our parents that we chose from early. For example, we chose Smart Falcon and Manhattan Cafe as our parents, and after this turn, it was late April, she will get Inspiration Day. So we'll take a look at that. Honestly, I'm not liking what I'm seeing, so we're just gonna Riko here, honestly. But after this turn, we'll get that inspiration, and you'll see how it gives us really good stats. So here's the inspiration. This happens twice per run, by the way. Being, like I said, same time of the year, one in classic and one in senior. So we see we got some good stats. We got some good, we got some skills here. Sometimes, you know, it will give us better stats. It all depends on your parent and what they're able to pass down, especially their grandparents as well. The better parent you have, the higher technically possibility of getting more abilities, and having better sparks on parents gives us higher stats we are able to inherit, and well, having an overall cap or increasing our cap of having a good Uma. So that's the inspiration. I'll probably meet you guys back during the summer, or 2 turns before summer, when Tazna warns us about it. All right, so it is 2 turns before summer. So early June, both classic and senior year, Tazna will warn you that, hey, summer's coming up. Use this warning as a notice of getting your energy pretty close to full as you can, so you can enter summer with the highest opportunity for, you know, best results. As you can see, we see this pretty good training here at speed, but summer's coming up, right? This is a lot of stats, I understand, but summer's coming up. So we're going to, personally, this is tough, actually. Let me explain why this is tough. So I guess this segues into another thing that I should probably explain. Towards the left, you can see our support cards that landed on speed here. So we have, you know, Zeno Rob Roy, the speed card, which is giving us our friendship bonus. And then you have, you know, Rice Shower here on top, and then, you know, another teammate that's not a support card below her, Taiki Shuttle. So, and you see there's these blue orbs next to them. So pretty much these are like soul orbs or skill orbs, whatever you want to call them. I forgot. That you can increase via like the arrow up. Every time you train with somebody that has an arrow up, it will fill this gauge. Having these gauges at full allows for the burst training, I think it's called. As you can see, Zeno Raboy having her gauge full, she wants to, you know, use her burst. And you can see there's this blue flame above our inherited stats that give us an extra 19. So the reason why this, you know, I debated this, for example, is because there's 2 people who have an arrow up that are going to fill their gauge if I train this. And I would be, you know, trading Zeno Roboy's burst right here. So honestly, going into summer with as much of these skill, you know, bursts filled as we can is really good, because that's going to super heighten our stats gained during summer. So honestly, since we have 2 turns, I'm going to train this, and I'm going to rest the next turn. Not using Riko because she won't give us enough energy. I'm going to pray that we get something called well rested. Kita-san's going to give us practice perfect, which is a good skill. Pretty much lowering our chance of failure during training. And we're gonna hope here that we get something called well rested. So when you rest, there's 3 outcomes. There's like the bad outcome, which gives us plus 30 energy. There's the good outcome, or there's the okay outcome, which gives us just solid rest, plus 50 energy. And then there's well rested, giving us plus 70 energy. We got the worst outcome, sleep deprived. So sleep deprived is kind of, it's a, like I said, the worst outcome of resting, right? So thanks, Goldshoe, for screaming. Sleep deprived has the opportunity to give you something called night owl, I believe, or sleep insomnia, or whatever it's called. That's not good. It's a debuff. So every time you rest, you have a chance of rolling that being really poor. So fingers crossed that just doesn't happen. And if it does happen, gotta go to the infirmary. So before every summer, there is Unity Cup. So we're going into round 2 of Unity Cup. So we're gonna look through our opponents. We can see, so this is the top option, but we can see there's 3 double circles and 2 triangles, right? So this is one I would probably gamble on because, like I said, high risk, high reward, but here we only need 3 to win, right? We only need 3 wins out of 5 to win the set. So probability says we are likely to win at least 3. So here is a good example. We're gonna try it. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But the payoff of it working out gives us more stats and higher ranking into versing Riko. So let's hope we win this. 1 win, 2 wins, 3 wins. All right, we won. 4 wins, full sweep, full sweep. We swept it. Cool. So that is an example of a positive payout for that. That's really good. Now we have extra stats. Our team rank improved to 17, so we're on a really good pace right now. New team members for winning. And here's Summer. So Summer, like I said, has increased max level, pretty much training facilities, and really good potential training results. So right now, there isn't any friendship training, which is kind of unlucky. But that's okay because our energy is rather in middling here. I will say a lot of players do rest at least once during summer, because training during summer takes a lot out of you. You can see the gauge. It takes a lot, especially if you have those burst skills. Resting is not a terrible option during summer for a few reasons. One is because unlike resting normally, resting during summer, there is no gamble on bad results or good results. It gives you a flat energy boost. Also, a really nice positive is resting during summer gives you a guaranteed mood up. So if we're at normal, we'll go to good. If we're at good, we'll go to great. So resting during summer is really positive. So we'll rest now. Our team power ranked went up to C rank, and so we could see there's friendship training at power. Nothing too strong right now. There's, like I said, there's 4 turns of summer, so we're just, all you can really do is hope for the best. This is pretty good, plus 49 to power and plus 30 to stamina. Or this is okay. This is why we train to get those skill orbs, right? So as we can see, this is plus what, 75 to speed, because like I said earlier, I took that risk, I took that gamble of getting our skill orbs up. So we have 2 skill orbs proccing at the same time, plus 2 speed cards at for friendship training, giving us this fat boost of stats here. This is what I mean. This is why resting for summer is really important. So look at that. Our power and speed are already into the 600s. I would say that's pretty solid. Now, our stamina and wit are rather low. Yes. But for the sake of the video, that is what we want. So every summer, before the last turn, you'll get hit with an option of, do you want more power or do you want more guts? I think our power is doing really good. We have power cards, so I would like to raise our bottom end with guts. All right, so another instance of resting during summer. This is also, like I said, really good. 2 people landed on speed for plus 43, but it's 31% failure rate. Unfortunately, I'm not going to gamble that. So summer ends, right? Our training facilities leveled up, and we can see that on Wit, for example, here we have Rice Shower. Rice Shower currently has a red exclamation point on her character, which means that she is ready to teach you one of her skills. So during the run earlier, or before the run, we chose support cards, and every support card has skills, right? So she is saying, hey, I'm ready to pass down one of my skills from the skill set here. So, and I'm not really too, fancy on training power right now. Nothing, it's plus 28, which is good, but I want to save her a little bit of energy, and she's giving us a skill. So for the sake of the video, we're gonna see what that looks like, right? So we train with her, which is all fine and good, and she gives us deep breaths. So every support card has different skills they might pass down. It is very good to do so. So I'll probably meet you guys back at probably New Year's, I would say, and show you what that looks like. All right, so New Year's is here. As you see, we got a training event, New Year's Shrine Visit. Every Uma has this, and it gives us another set of 3 options. So the top option being plus 30 to energy, middle option being plus 5 to all stats, bottom option being plus 35 to skill points. Now, so as you see, we have lower energy, right? So me personally, we're going to choose energy here. But if you are really if you're really close, I would say like if you're like 90% filled on energy, right? You're not going to really gain too much from choosing energy. Choose plus 5 to all stats. Don't underestimate this. Choosing plus 5 to all stats is really good because, like I said, we're raising our bottom end of our Uma's stats, and having a higher bottom end means a higher overall quality of our Uma being a better horse. So, but for the sake of my run here, for the sake of the video, we're just going to choose energy. So coming up, as I mentioned earlier, is important dates, right? Valentine's Day being early to late February. That's one of the dates that we need 60,000 fans to upgrade our unique. Upgrading our unique, obviously, is something we want to do. So naturally, through Gold Chip's career run, we have 95,000 fans total because we raced in the Armageddon. So we don't need to do extra races to get up there. So it will happen naturally in a few turns. All right, so early February, Valentine's Day is here. Gold Ship or whoever your Uma is will talk about Valentine's Day, maybe celebrate it. But at the end of it, you'll see that since we have enough fans, our unique skill leveled up. So that's why we want to have enough fans. Now, I believe the next one is early to late April. So you want to have, like I said, 70 to 80K fans. I'm not sure which one it is for then, so you can keep on upgrading. Missing out on unique skill upgrades or level ups really kind of hinders your horse and their performance overall. Sometimes if you miss it, it might just be a dead run, unfortunately. So make sure you keep an eye on your fan count and keep winning your races. All right, so second inspirations here. Like I said, multiple inspirations happen throughout the run, or 2 specifically, sorry. So usually, you go for the best results with this. I didn't really get too much besides some decent stats. And then after inspiration is the Fan Fest. So it is in fact early April, and if you have enough fans, you will level up your skill. So early April is the date. Really, there's not too much else to this this run, honestly. Besides, summer coming up in July, so you prefer it in June, and your final unique level up opportunity being in late December. There's not much else to it. You really just want to train for the stats that you're aiming for. Remember that goal we wanted to set before, we went and started the run. Now's the time to try to, RNG is your enemy and your friend at the same time. Hopefully you're getting good trainings for your stats and what you're looking for. Hopefully you're getting good skills for your Uma. And most important thing is really having fun. Like I said, don't be afraid to try new things. A lot of this game is trial and error. Like, for example, something I would say, right, is something I learned is maybe I'd have less power sparks from the parents and maybe have more stamina, so I have higher end stamina. You know, it's something you learn from trial and error. To have a Uma that's more well rounded. It's going to take a lot of attempts. It's going to take a lot of effort, but it's going to pay off. It's absolutely going to pay off. So honestly, I'll probably meet you guys at the end of this run. And see you guys there for probably picking skills at the end of the run. Hopefully win the URA finale and whatnot. So yeah, I'll see you guys then. All right, so we're at the Unity Cup finals. We made it all the way to the end of the career, right? You beat, Ari McKinnon or whatever your final goal was, and here you are. So this is kind of like I said, the end. This is the end. You can see this is your teams will be all leveled up to the best of their ability. I have a team rating of 5 or 5th rank, and we're going up against number 1. This is Riko and her team. So in order to get the skill, remember I told you your team name, right? In order to get that skill, you need to beat Riko. If you don't beat Riko, whatever skill you wanted, from whatever team name you chose in the beginning, you won't get it. So like I said, you only need 3. We have 2 double circles and the rest are normal circles. You can have all 5 double circles, by the way, and you could still lose flat out to Riko. She's one tough opponent, I will say. So don't be upset if you're losing the first few times around. So we lost 2, we win 2, we won 3. We narrowly won that. I'm telling you, it's not easy. So luckily, fortunate for us, for the sake of the run, we did win that. And we get stats if we win as well. You say, we won the entire Unity Cup. We did it. So after Unity Cup, we have something called the URA finale. There is it won't show up in your careers for your Uma, but if you finish all your goals, you will come to the URA finale. So what is the URA finale? There's a qualifier, semi-qualifier, and the finals. So and there's turns in between each one, and if you win them, you get a lot of stats. So our goal is to win the entire damn thing. Our stats are okay. There's a lot I would take away from this run. For example, I would probably have a lot less power sparks and have more stamina sparks from our parents passing down wise. We also kind of got somewhat unlucky when it comes to my speed cards landing on speed. Sometimes they just don't do that. There's runs where I'll go the entire distance without like much, friendship training on speed, and it just sucks. There's times where I'll cap speed by like the second summer. It's all RNG. So we have the qualifier here. We won the qualifier. Move on. Let's say we get a bunch of stats for winning. So we won the semifinals. Failure chance, right? So personally, for the sake of this Uma, this is for me personally. This is glue. This Uma is just not good enough for anything. So this is just glue. So for the sake of hopefully becoming a parent, I want 1100 stats to speed, so I can hopefully get 3-star spark and speed or power since we're over 1100. So briefly about sparks, if you have 1100 of a stat, you have a 2% chance of it becoming a 3-star spark at the end. We'll kind of go over that a little bit at the end. And if you have 600 to a stat, you have a 1% chance of becoming a 3-star spark. And I'll show you. I'll show you what it looks like. So thankfully, we do have over 1100 stats, so we'll at least have that chance. But this is not even. We're like I said, like 90 stat away from cap. So like I said, this run is unfortunately no good to me. But that's okay, because like I said, for the sake of this video, it worked out perfectly. So hopefully we win the finale here. We do. Which is perfect. So we'll see. Get a bunch of stats at the end. And since we beat Riko, we'll get the gold skill I was telling you about. It would be right here. And we see we get no stopping me because we beat Riko. Riko, the support card, will give us some stats. And for the final training event, since we won the UR finale, this is the kind of the send-off. And this is our final stats. This is what we got. So, like I said, nothing crazy. Oh, to me personally, this might be great to some of you. It'll come with time. Let time take care of your account. You summon wisely. You will absolutely surpass what you're doing now, and you'll grow to greater heights. Just stick with it. So at this point, like I said, some people buy skills at the end of their runs. I being one of them. So skills I would look at, right? So what would I buy, frankly? So this is a parent run, or a parent attempt per se. So like I said, this is not going to be a very good runner. I wouldn't buy anything super crazy. What I would buy is green skills, right? So we saw earlier down here, there's Pace Chaser Savvy and Closure Savvy. So Gold Ship is not a Pace Chaser, right? But we're kind of hoping that she wants to pass down Pace Chaser Savvy, that she might potentially become a good parent herself. So we're going to grab green skills. Those are really good. You cannot, I will say, disclaimer, you cannot pass down other people's unique skills. So they pass them down to us because that's our grandparents and parents here, but we cannot pass them down ourselves. So 0 point in buying these pretty much. We cannot pass down gold skills. We can only pass down the white skill version of them. So like Corner Adept is the white skill version of Professor of Curvature. So we'd buy this, but we wouldn't buy Professor of Curvature. Corner Recovery, like I said, the white skill version of Swinging Maestro, so I'd buy it. Nimble Navigator is the white skill of No Stopping Me. I like to buy specific skills, like for example, this is Mile Straightways. This only works on miles, but these are really good skills to pass down, especially when you're building an Uma for a goal. So like if you're, a run goes to glue, right? I would be passing down skills like this. Honestly, there's nothing else super crazy. Uma Stand's really good to pass down. And the rest will kind of just be, prepare to pass is pretty solid. Maybe I'd pass down Straightaway Depth because that's pretty solid. But besides that, maybe ramp up, right? And Straightaway Acceleration. Just why not, right? And if you have some leftover points, go and spend them. I'm not really seeing anything too crazy, right? So, I'm not, like I said, for the sake of the video, I'm not too worried about it, unfortunately, right? So I press confirm, buy your skills. Say if this was like your ace, like this was the run, buy skills specific to the character. You do not buy Pace Chaser skills for an end closer. Buy the gold skill versions, right? I would buy Professor of Curvature if this was the run, right? Like I would buy Swinging Maestro. I would buy Go Home Specialist for Gold Ship. I like the gold skills. Those are like the bread and butter to their kit. Those are what you want to buy. But since, like I said, this is not an ace for me personally, I wouldn't buy it. So that's that. These are the stats you got. Congratulations. You beat the UR finale. You beat Riko. Congratulations. Hopefully this video taught you some key takeaways, taught you some skills. So it help you with your runs. So we got an A+ here. Rating of 13,000. And unfortunately, so remember those sparks I was telling you about earlier about parents? So she got a 1-star spark in power, which is terrible to the glue factory. 1, spark in mile, terrible to the glue factory. But she did pass down, like I said, prepared to pass, straightaway adept, corner recovery. Not very high, stars of them, but she did pass them down technically. So, and that concludes our run. So hopefully you guys learned a little something yourself. Hopefully you can apply these skills to your runs. And if you guys have any other suggestions of like you want more guides of something specific, like, hey, I want a support card guide, and like, what do all the text mean? Or like, hey, I want a guide of, I don't know, like, hell, anything. Suggest it. Comments. Let me know. I'll do it. There'll be a future upcoming videos, especially more Uma content. Champions meeting starts, funny enough, in 25 minutes for me. So when Champions meeting is all done, you'll get I wanted to make a Champions meeting video of my experience. Win or lose, you know, whatever it may be, I want to make it something for fun. But besides that, guys, I hope you guys, you know, learned a lot, and subscribe for more content like this. Absolutely. Leave a like if you know, helps me a ton. Tell me I did something right. But besides that, yeah, your boy Red Skull here, sign out. Peace.